When I caught Harry Stanfield cheating, he smirked with a cigarette between his lips. Marriage is so dull, isn't it? Why not try an open relationship? You can find other men too. I don't mind. I moved out that very night. He thought I was just throwing a tantrum and sent a photo of my rented flat to his mates' group chat. Lads, check out this dump. Without Harry, Rebecca can't even afford a decent meal. They were betting on how long it would take for me to come crawling back. Little did they know. I was busy dealing with my new 6 feet 3 inches housekeeper with washboard abs. The cheeky lad was quite cunning. After his shower, he deliberately walked around shirtless. And accidentally dropped cake on his abs. Miss, could you help me wipe off this cream? Ding! Wisnovel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. Harry stood at my doorstep with a look of disgust. Is this even habitable? The walls were old and crumbling, flaking at the slightest touch. The floorboards were cracked, creaking with every step. The pampered young Mr. Stanfield refused to enter, instead recording a video from the doorway. Lads, check out this dump. Messages pinged in rapid succession. And here we thought she had some pride. She's really slumming it without you, eh? That's what she gets for being difficult. She had it good with you, now she can't even afford a decent meal. Once Rebecca has had a taste of hardship, she'll realize you were the best she could get, Harry. The messages fell silent as Harry looked at me haughtily. Rebecca, have you heard of an open relationship? Or are you living in the Victorian era? I swept a mummified mouse from the corner, deliberately brushing it towards his feet. Bloody hell! He practically fled, covering his nose. This was indeed an old house. Dilapidated and decaying. But it was the location a master had calculated would bring me the most fortune. The old house sat in an auspicious position. The master said it would ensure my next graphic novel would be another hit. A few days ago, I went to the pub to pick up my drunk friend. By chance, I stumbled upon Harry's gathering. He had a young girl sitting on his lap. And they were snogging so intensely their saliva was practically forming strings. The crowd around them was cheering raucously. I pushed open the door and entered. Harry, caught red-handed, didn't seem flustered at all. Instead, he hugged the girl closer and laid it out for me. Rebecca, to be honest, I never intended to get married. Why don't we keep an open relationship? Don't worry, it's just casual fun out there. You'll always be my official girlfriend. He grinned. Of course, you're free to find someone else too. I don't mind. Someone nearby chimed in. But Rebecca is so sweet, who else could she find without you? I think it's a good idea. Our Harry is known for his vigorous appetite. Having some fast food outside saves him from exhausting Rebecca at home every day, doesn't it? Harry lit a cigarette and laughed, sawed off. Everyone assumed I would agree. Even he didn't bother to make the girl on his lap move. I glanced at my phone, seeing the newly received payment for the TV rights. 7 figures. Harry. Let's break up. The smile froze on Harry's face. He exhaled a cloud of smoke and said, Fine, just don't come crying back to me later. I was woken from my nap by a knock at the door. Shuffling to answer in my slippers, I could feel my irritation rising. Who? My words trailed off as I stared in disbelief at the person outside. A young man, easily 6 feet 3 inches, with broad shoulders and a slim waist. And that face. Stunningly handsome, to say the least. Who are you? I managed. The live-in housekeeper. Before I could process this, he was already changing his shoes. May I come in? Thank you. Well, that was presumptuous. My phone buzzed with a message from my best friend, Flora Quince. Has the housekeeper arrived? You may have lost your boyfriend, but life goes on. You work non-stop when you're on a deadline, skipping meals left and right. I worry you'll drop dead in that old house with no one knowing. I hired the cheapest option. The agency said this housekeeper is perfect for single women. Has the old dear arrived? How does she look? Watching the young man remove his coat, I replied honestly. Looks, not bad. No sooner had I sent it when the housekeeper took off his outer layer, revealing a black sleeveless vest underneath, exposing toned, muscular arms. Then, He slowly tied on a hot pink apron. Looking up at me, he asked, "Miss, where's the kitchen?" Those shoulders, that trim waist, that face. It was quite the sight. I collected myself. "Over there." Not 2 minutes later, there was a dull thud from the kitchen. I went to investigate. 2 bowls lay shattered on the floor. The young man stared at the broken pieces, his eyelid twitching slightly. "Miss, please deduct the cost of the broken bowls from my wages. The male housekeeper's name is Neville Ashworth. His rates are ridiculously low. The average price for a live-in housekeeper in our city is £5,000 per month. But he's willing to work for just £3,000. However, as the saying goes, you get what you pay for. This chap is rubbish at household chores. He can't do anything properly. And his cooking is absolutely dreadful. After just half a day's trial, I'm already feeling a bit anxious. But on the bright side, his face is certainly a plus point. Moreover, Neville bears a striking resemblance to the male protagonist in my new comic. He's like a real-life reference for my artwork." That evening, Neville attempted to cook me a 3-course meal with soup, following a recipe. Undercooked mashed potatoes. Potato crisps without salt. A bland potato salad that was neither tangy nor spicy. And a pot of potato and leek soup. It was as if he'd raided a potato farm. He awkwardly pushed the dishes towards me, his tone apologetic. "I know my cooking skills are lacking, but don't worry, I'll improve. Besides," he paused, "given time, miss, you'll discover I have other talents." An adult's vocabulary often leads to rather improper associations in a split second. Neville quickly got up to mop the floor. The living room was a bit warm, so he lifted the hem of his shirt to wipe the sweat from his brow. Turning back, he asked me with a serious face, "Miss, I'm feeling a bit hot. Would it be all right if I take off my vest while I mop?" I lounged on the sofa, chin in hand, watching Neville mop the floor. He'd taken off his vest, revealing his muscular upper body. The young man's physique exuded raw magnetism. As he gripped the mop, pulling and pushing, his pheromones seemed to overflow. TSK. What a calculating young man. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. Harry had sent a photo of gourmet food from a posh restaurant. He never usually took pictures of his meals. But this time he'd even chosen a specific angle and applied a filter. Just a casual bite. "What about you?" "Not having beans on toast again, are you?" In the corner of the photo, whether intentional or not, a glimpse of a woman's skirt was visible. If I wasn't mistaken, this was another of Mr. Stanfield's compliance tests. Using his prized wealth to create a stark contrast with my impoverished state. Hoping I'd regret my choices, yield, and accept his free-spirited view of relationships. Seeing no reply from me, he sent a shopping receipt moments later. He bought several bags from Louis Vuitton. These young girls are so easily impressed, they don't even know how to pick the expensive stuff. At least she knows how to save me money. I still didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded it to Flora as a joke. Flora replied almost instantly. "LOL. Has this bloke ever considered going to Gotham City to face off with Batman? Why don't you just delete him?" I glanced at Neville, still mopping vigorously. "Nah, I'll keep him. He's like a virtual pet." Quite entertaining, really. Evening. I was feeling dizzy from drawing in the basement. I came up for some fresh air. As a result, I bumped into Neville doing push-ups in the living room. He was still wearing that sleeveless vest. His arm muscles bulged with effort. And as he moved up and down, his back tightened, his movements crisp. His long legs stretched out longer than my life expectancy. Seeing me, he lifted his head, and a drop of sweat conveniently slid from the corner of his eye. It dripped into the collar of his vest. Inexplicably alluring. "Have you finished drawing?" he asked. He made to get up. "I'll cut some fruit for you." "No need," I said. I pulled up a chair and sat down. "You carry on, I'll watch for a bit." He had gone to all the trouble of doing push-ups in the living room. Wasn't it just for my benefit? Neville even started doing them one-handed, his form perfect, his core strength steady. "Miss," he suddenly looked up at me. It's not challenging enough. Why don't you sit on my back to help me out? Those eyes of his were brazenly enticing. I smiled. All right then. As it happened, I needed some intimate scenes for my comic. Time to find some inspiration. With my fingers pressing on Neville's shoulders, I sat on his back. My skirt was a bit short. The hem rode up slightly with my movement. The bend of my knee just brushed against him. As he moved up and down, our skin made contact, igniting silent sparks. Neville remained steady, only his movements quickened a bit. After a few repetitions, I lost my balance and toppled forward. Careful, he said. He caught me firmly. But he also fell on top of me in the process. One hand braced against the floor, trapping me in his arms. His breath deliberately or accidentally sweeping across my face as he breathed. Our gazes interlocked. Neville slowly lowered his head, bringing his breath closer and closer still. Until he was almost kissing me. I suddenly turned my head away. I'm going to bed, I said. I didn't even put on my slippers. Walking to the bedroom door, I looked back. Neville was still frozen in the same position, as if savoring the moment. I've always been one to sleep in and wake up naturally before starting work. I opened the door. At once, I spotted a figure in the kitchen. Neville was making breakfast. He changed his outfit today, wearing a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up a few times. Compared to yesterday's open style, today the shirt buttons were properly fastened to the very top. This lad truly had a body that looked slim in clothes but was muscular without them. Even in simple attire, his youthful energy was palpable. You're awake? He smiled at me, carrying a plate with a fried egg. Breakfast's ready. I nodded. Halfway through breakfast, I received another message from Harry. Want me to take you out for something nice? Stop eating that beans on toast, it's not nutritious. Rebecca, you can't even reply to a message. Are you afraid you'll break down and beg me to get back together? Reverse psychology. But I did fall for it. I casually snapped a photo of my breakfast and sent it to shut him up. No need to worry about me. I have a housekeeper who makes my breakfast. A 6'3" male housekeeper. Don't be ridiculous. With your measly 3,000 to 4,000 pounds writing fee. How could you afford a 6'3" bloke as a housekeeper? Rebecca, we've been together for years. There's no need to put on a brave face with me. Just give in a little. I'll take you out for a fancy meal right now. Across the table, Neville noticed my constantly buzzing phone. And passed me a sausage roll. Your boyfriend? Ex-boyfriend. How could he bear to break up with such a beautiful woman like you, sis? He wanted an open relationship, to date multiple women. I didn't agree. Neville silently cleared the dishes. He truly doesn't know how good he had it. If I had a girlfriend as beautiful as you, I'd never cheat in this lifetime. Besides, I don't believe in open relationships either. When it comes to love, I'm quite traditional. I went to the supermarket with Neville this afternoon. Halfway there, we realized we'd forgotten to buy celery, so he went back to get some. As we were nearing home, I bumped into Mr. Cutler Sr. from upstairs and had a brief chat. Just as I was about to head in, I spotted Harry waiting by my door. He was leaning against the frame, his face full of mockery. Rebecca, is this your 6'3" male housekeeper? The old chap's got liver spots. Can he really do your washing and cooking? This bloke was truly irritating. That's just my upstairs neighbor. My male housekeeper is only 6'3" tall, with an 8-pack. I gave Harry's slightly less impressive physique, worn down by years of debauchery, a once-over. Tisk, he's far better than you. Unfortunately, he didn't believe me. Do I look like an idiot to you? As if you'd hire a male model with an 8-pack. All right then. He handed me a bag of sweets, cakes from my old favorite bakery. The Hermes of the cake world. Ridiculously expensive. He smirked, can't even afford a little cake now you've left me, can you? I didn't take it. As I was pondering what to say to get rid of him, Harry's phone suddenly rang. He answered. In the quiet hallway, I could faintly hear a woman's voice cooing. Harry, I'm wearing that new outfit we bought yesterday. When are you coming over? Harry was silent for a moment. Later. He hung up and forcefully shoved the cake into my hands. Take it. There's a gift card for the bakery in the bag. I've put a few thousand on it. If you want cake, use the card to buy some. Even if we've split up, don't let yourself look malnourished. He then said seriously, there's an urgent matter at the office. I've got to go. Neville walked in carrying 2 shopping bags, immediately spotting the box on the table. Did you buy this? He asked, fiddling with the celery leaves in his hand. This cake isn't cheap. Have you had it before? He paused. No, but I've seen my previous employer buy it. I nodded. My ex sent it over. Can you eat sweet things? It's yours if you want it. Thank you, miss, Neville said politely, but didn't eat it. Instead, he busied himself with making dinner. The lad's learning ability was decent. In just 2 days, his cooking skills had improved. At least now he could cook things through. After dinner, he mopped the floor and wiped the tables, tidying everything up before wiping his brow and asking me, "May I take a shower? I'm all sweaty, it's quite uncomfortable." "Sure," I said, halting my steps towards the basement. I sat on the sofa instead. "Go ahead, I'll watch some telly." The young man's eyes darkened momentarily. "All right." As expected, after the gentle sound of running water. It was only about 15 minutes before Neville came out. He had a towel wrapped around his waist. I couldn't tell if he was wearing anything underneath. But he certainly wasn't wearing anything over the towel. He was drying his damp hair with one hand. "Sorry," he said apologetically, "I forgot to bring a change of clothes." My gaze swept over his toned abs. Admittedly, it was a pleasing sight. "No worries." Neville sat on the edge of the sofa, leaving a 2-person gap between us. He muttered to himself, "Oh right, we haven't eaten the cake yet." He picked up the small cake from the table. But his hand suddenly slipped, and the cake landed on his body. The cream smeared across his abs. With one hand holding the towel and the other reaching for the cake, he looked troubled. "Miss, I don't have a free hand. Could you help wipe this off?" "Of course I'd be happy to." I pulled out 2 tissues, hesitated, then put one back. After all, thriftiness is a virtue. The thin tissue pressed against his abs, unhesitatingly transmitting his warmth. The tissue, now smeared with cream, slid easily over his sculpted muscles. He tossed aside the cake and gripped my wrist. His voice was husky. "Miss, you've smeared cream all over. What should we do about that?" I looked up at him coyly. "How about?" Neville had barely uttered 2 words when, without warning, the lights went out. A power cut. Neville told me to wait on the sofa while he went to check with a torch. It was a temporary outage affecting the whole building. "Do you have any candles?" "Yes, in my wardrobe in the bedroom." Neville followed me into the bedroom. "They're in the small cabinet up top." Neville opened the cabinet door. A hanging bra nearly smacked him in the face. In the phone's light, the lace edges of the lingerie were translucent. Rather embarrassing. Neville cleared his throat and found the candles in the upper cabinet, lighting one. A small flame illuminated the living room. Suddenly, Neville pressed a tissue into my hand and pointed at himself. "If you don't clean it off soon, the cream will harden. It's quite uncomfortable." The candlelight flickered with his movement. The warm glow on his abs made that layer of pale cream oddly sensual. "Can't you wipe it yourself? Whoever made the mess should clean it up." He placed the tissue in my palm, grasping my wrist and giving it a gentle shake. "Help me out." So I did. The cream was sticky, a few tissues weren't enough to clean it properly. As I wiped downwards along his abs, I reached the towel wrapped around his waist. "Miss," his voice deepened, "you've dirted the towel. And the cream's gotten inside it too." His breath washed over me. Somehow, it extinguished the candle. My heart raced a bit. In the darkness, I looked up at him. "Whatever shall we do?" Neville took my hand, his voice soft. "Untie the towel, Mississippi." Seeing I didn't move, Neville leaned in closer. He gripped my hand a little tighter. "Miss, You know I did this on purpose, right? Our breaths mingled. I chuckled, gazing into his eyes in the darkness. And do you know that I did too? I'm not some naive 18-year-old girl. How could I not see through his obvious and subtle flirtations? But so what? A handsome young man 5 years my junior. Willing to use his youthful, fit body to tease and please me? Why should I refuse? Besides, the latest chapter could use some bold, intimate material. As they say, practice makes perfect. So when Neville bent down to kiss me, I didn't refuse. Instead, I wrapped my arms around his neck. Neville lifted me with one arm, kissing me more passionately. From living room to bedroom, desire on the surface, a battle of wills underneath. I woke up early, feeling utterly exhausted. Young lads certainly know how to wear a girl out. My lower back was killing me. After a moment, I dragged myself out of bed to freshen up. The mirror reflected my face, rosy-cheeked and radiant. It's true what they say. A man is the best tonic. After getting ready, I walked out to find Neville busy in the kitchen. He was wearing nothing but a pair of loose shorts, his upper body bare. An apron was tied around his waist. Ah, the joys of youth. We'd been at it until nearly dawn, yet here he was, a walking hormone factory. Hearing me, he turned around. Breakfast's ready, Mississippi. Thanks. Neville's cooking skills had improved. Especially his fried eggs. The timing was spot on. Just as I took a bite, there was a knock at the door. I went to answer it. It was old Mr. Cutler from upstairs. I was just out for my morning walk. My wife wanted me to bring you some of these farm-fresh eggs our relatives sent us. Thank you, Mr. Cutler. Mr. Cutler was a dear, but his hearing wasn't the best. What? The cherries are ripe? Must be the cherry tree in the park. My wife loves cherries, she does. Before I could explain, Mr. Cutler toddled off happily. Spry as ever. I sighed. No sooner had I closed the door than there was another knock. Mr. I swallowed the Cutler as I saw who it was. Harry Stanfield. He leaned against the doorframe. Did your 6'4" elderly housekeeper go cherry-picking for you? What do you want? I moved to close the door, but a hand quickly blocked it, getting lightly pinched in the process. Bloody hell, trying to maim me? He lounged against the door, clearly with no intention of entering my slum. Rebecca, you know you can tell me if you've changed your mind. He surveyed the dingy hallway, taking. Look at this place. This flat's older than you are, isn't it? Why suffer like this? Just swallow your pride and move back. I'll get you 3 housekeepers. I scoffed. What, one maid for each of your girlfriends? Not at all, Harry shook his head. I've arranged separate accommodations for those 2. They're not worthy of living in our home. It's pointless. You can't reason with people like him. Seeing I was about to shut the door again, Harry quickly shoved 2 shopping bags through. I saw they were from Hermes. The girl doesn't know anything. Took her shopping for a handbag and she picked out a load of cheap accessories. The bag's for you. He smiled. See? They can't compare to you. I didn't take it. Harry, we've broken up. I know. Harry looked utterly unconcerned. But I haven't agreed to it. Rebecca, as long as I don't accept it, who would dare touch you? You're stubborn, you've got a bee in your bonnet right now, but that's all right. I can wait. I'm willing to put up with your tantrums. I didn't take the bags worth thousands of pounds. He carelessly tossed them on the floor. Stay here if you want. When you come to your senses, just give me a call. With that, Harry turned and left. He left so abruptly that I didn't even have time to open the door wide enough for him to see the half-naked young man in my kitchen. He was mistaken. Someone did dare to touch me. Neville was a rather competent caretaker. He took good care of me, both in and out of bed. The young lad, like a puppy, would whisper miss in my ear, with a hint of flirtation and eagerness to please. His every move was an enthusiastic attempt to win my favor. He also provided me with endless inspiration. After our nightly indulgences, I'd take a shower and head to the basement to sketch. Each chapter was brimming with sexual tension. As soon as the comic series was published, it became an instant hit. The master was right. This old house indeed brought me good fortune. That evening, Neville said he had bought something new. Said we should give it a try. He hurried off to the bathroom for a shower. While the water was still running, his phone, left on the bedside table, suddenly vibrated. I glanced at it. His password was easy to guess, his birthday. I opened it. Ashworth, how's your experience being a caretaker for so many days? It's all right. Bit tiring during the day, but the nights are quite enjoyable. You poor thing, having to put up with all this just to get under Harry Stanfield's skin, even picking up his leftovers. Watch your bloody mouth. What do you mean by leftovers? I'm sacrificing myself for the sake of our business. I scrolled up further. In the early hours of the day I had Neville lick cream off me. Neville had sent him a message. Harry Stanfield's woman is in my bed. The Stanfields' good days are numbered. The reply came instantly. Ashworth, you're a legend. Having read all the messages, I pretended I hadn't seen anything, marked them as unread, adjusted the order in the background, and finally turned off the screen. Not 2 minutes later, Neville rushed out, wrapped in a towel. Seeing his phone still in place, he seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. What's the matter? I asked him. Why the rush? Nothing, Neville said, one hand clutching his towel as he tore open a wrapper with his teeth. Just eager to try the new one. The lights went off. Neville's breath enveloped me along with the darkness. I didn't push him away. Neville. What? He was busy trying to please me, his movements unceasing. Kiss me. He promptly obliged. Kneeling before me, he gently cupped my face with both hands, kissing me slowly and earnestly. The curtains were left open. Moonlight poured in like water, dampening the night. That night, not only did I not expose his lies, but I was particularly engaged. At the height of passion, Neville breathed softly in my ear. Miss, you're different tonight. A knock on the door startled us. Neither Neville nor I had gotten out of bed yet. Harry's voice seeped through the crack in the door. Rebecca, we need to talk. I glanced at Neville beside me. He smirked slightly. Seeing him about to open the door, I quickly stopped him. Don't open it. Neville frowned. Miss, are you afraid of him seeing me? Yes, I am. The puppy's face fell instantly. Until I patted his cheek, that bloke's got a temper. I'm worried he might lash out. If this handsome face gets bruised, I won't be able to sleep tonight. He can't beat me. I'm still concerned. Anyway, let me talk to him first. Seeing my insistence, Neville could only agree. I gave him a quick peck on the lips. Sorry for the trouble. With that, I stuffed him into the wardrobe. Then I went to open the door. Rebecca. Harry stood in the doorway, looking reluctant to enter my humble abode. But after a moment's hesitation, he came in. He tried to take my hand. Can we talk? I kept my distance from him. Go on then. So Harry followed behind me, walking and talking. Becca, I've been thinking for a long time. If. He paused, his gaze falling on my neckline. His eyes blazed with fury. What's that on your neck? I looked down. On my collarbone was the mischievous bite mark from last night's puppy. Of course, he didn't dare bite me hard. It didn't hurt, but the sucking and nibbling left a conspicuous and suggestive mark. I smirked. Last night. Mosquito bite, right? Harry didn't even listen to what I was saying, coming up with his own explanation. This dump of yours is full of bugs. He changed the subject back. I've been thinking lately, if you keep refusing an open relationship, what should I do? Break up? Or settle down and marry you, have kids, live that predictable life till death do us part? If I have to choose, I choose you. I gave a mirthless laugh. I'm truly honored. Harry seemed not to notice the sarcasm in my voice and turned to enter the bedroom. What are you doing? Packing your things. You're moving out. He frowned. It's bloody weird. Lately when I go out for drinks, I can't even enjoy myself. Just thinking about you sleeping in this dark, run-down flat makes me feel uneasy. He made to open the wardrobe door to start packing. Enough! Harry, are you done with this nonsense? His hand was already on the wardrobe door, but he stopped abruptly. Harry looked confused. I just told you that I love you more than an open relationship. He even thought I had misunderstood his meaning. Because, in his mind, and in the minds of those around us, I was the one punching above my weight in this relationship. He was the sole heir of the Stanfield family, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. While I was orphaned, alone in the world, a barely known comic artist struggling to make ends meet. The only thing that matched him was my face. After a moment of silence, he slowly withdrew his hand. Rebecca, I'm choosing you. Isn't that enough? I promise you, I'll be faithful. But why do I need your promise? Can I eat promises? If you change your mind in a while, you can just fart out that promise like it's nothing. Harry grew anxious. I can sign a contract with you. Harry, don't be childish. If you want to back out, the Stanfield family's team of lawyers can invalidate that contract in a heartbeat. Even if it were valid, I'm not interested in tying the rest of my life to a piece of paper. Harry hadn't spoken for a long time. After a while, he suddenly kicked the wardrobe door, as if venting his anger. He lowered his eyes. I'll assume it's just your morning temper. Take some time to cool off. We'll talk later. After Harry left, Neville crawled out of the wardrobe, his forehead slightly red. Evidently, Harry's kick had caused the door to hit Neville's forehead. Neville cursed under his breath. When he looked at me, his eyes were bright. Miss, you really don't plan to get back together with him? That's right. I deliberately asked him, what? Neville came over, bent down to hug me, pulling me into his arms. I'm so happy. Because now you're all mine, Mississippi. I laughed. That's not necessarily true. Neville raised an eyebrow, leaning down to kiss me. But I lightly slapped his face. Go brush your teeth first. The new comic series continues to be a smashing hit. I'm already in talks for animated and game adaptations. To be honest, Neville deserves a lot of credit. This young lad who came to my house cosplaying as a male housekeeper seems to have become addicted to the role, fully immersing himself in the character. While I work on my drafts in the basement, he busies himself with housework, sweeping, mopping, washing dishes, and cooking. He moves with efficiency. His culinary skills have improved significantly. He's even managed to fatten me up by a good 5 pounds. The uncles and aunties at the nearby market all know him now. Whenever he goes shopping, he gets better deals than anyone else. Of course, where we're most in sync is during the night. He's very enthusiastic. Every night, he's like a large puppy eager to please its owner. If I run my fingers through his hair in the heat of the moment and praise him with a well done, his eyes light up instantly. Then he tries even harder to please me. Miss, he says. After our intimate moments, he holds me close, lost in thought, his arms tightening around me. If you found out one day that I had lied to you, would you break up with me? I feel his strong heartbeat against me. I laugh and say, of course not, silly. You foolish boy. It's not like we're dating, so how could we break up? It's rather strange, come to think of it. He was the one who deliberately approached me. While I'm still clear-headed enough to enjoy the intimacy, he seems to have gradually assimilated and become lost in it all. What a silly puppy he is. There's a gathering today. It's the birthday party of one of Harry's female friends. When I was dating Harry, I got along well with her. Phoebe invited me several times, and I couldn't refuse anymore. So I asked her, can I bring my boyfriend? You're dating someone new already? Girl, you're amazing. Does Harry know? Serves him right, what's with that open relationship nonsense? There are hardly any decent men in this circle. She heard that Harry still didn't know. She quickly sent an emoji, /smug/, can't wait to see his reaction. That evening, I attended with Neville. Upon seeing the crowd, Neville frowned and whispered, didn't you say we were meeting your friend? We are. I shrugged, pointing at Phoebe, that's my friend. Neville cursed under his breath. Very quietly. What's wrong? I deliberately asked him, "Do you know her?" "No, I don't." Neville scanned the room and tried to leave several times. But I kept holding him back. "Stay with me for a while, be good." Neville pressed his lips together, saying nothing. Many people were glancing in our direction. Some were secretly taking photos with their phones, obviously to send to someone. "What the hell are you photographing?" Neville couldn't sit still anymore. He stepped forward, ready to punch someone. A group of people took sides, and the scene instantly descended into chaos. Until Harry came in. He stormed in with an angry face, ignoring everyone else and coming straight for me. "Rebecca, they're saying you found another man? Is that him?" Neville had his back to me, his body stiffened. He kicked away the person in front of him and walked straight towards the exit. Harry ran to stop him. "Where are you running to?" "Damon Ashworth?" Harry froze. I raised an eyebrow. So Neville Ashworth was just a stage name. Hearing the name Damon Ashworth, the few people who had been involved in the scuffle earlier also froze, whispering among themselves. "The illegitimate son of the Ashworth family? Bloody hell, keep your voice down. This bloke's known for being vicious." The last person who mentioned illegitimate in front of him got both legs broken. The group suddenly became cowardly. "Damn, nobody told us he was Damon Ashworth. He's only been brought back to the Ashworth family these past 2 years and rarely appears in public. Who could have recognized him? How strange. When he first approached me, it was clearly to get revenge on Harry. But now, with his true identity revealed, according to his original plan, he should be gleefully pointing at Harry and saying, 'I slept with your woman.' Instead, he was just pale-faced, looking at me guiltily, tentatively, desperately. Miss. Harry couldn't take it anymore. He landed a punch on Damon's face. "So you've brought your bloody business wars into my personal life, have you? You're trying to steal my girlfriend to secure your inheritance, you bastard?" 2 punches landed. Damon's lips split. Blood trickled out. Damon cursed twice and fought back. These 2 privileged young heirs from wealthy families were now brawling like common thugs. Nobody dared to intervene. Everyone instinctively looked to me. "Rebecca. Becca, please stop them. We can't be held responsible if either of these gentlemen gets hurt." I shook my head, moving further away. "I won't stop them. I'm too scared." When they were stopped, both of them were injured. Harry, always indulging in a life of luxury, was no match for the muscular Damon. He had thrown the first punch, but ended up with far more injuries than Damon. "Rebecca," he rushed in front of me, pointing at Damon with hatred in his voice. "Do you know who he really is? You actually think he's dating you because he likes you? He's just Harry Stanfield." Damon suddenly shouted, "Shut up." As they were about to fight again, I spoke calmly, "I know. The young master of the Ashworth family, right?" Both of them froze instantly. Especially Damon. He stared at me in disbelief, opening and closing his mouth without uttering a word. Harry glanced at him, then turned back to me. His face flushed with anger. "Are you daft? You knew he was only getting close to you to get at me, and you still..." He paused, as if unable to continue. "Rebecca, don't you realize he's been playing you?" I sat on the sofa, sipping my drink with a smile. Well, as a single woman, I managed to play the famous young master of the Ashworth family for just £3,000 a month. Who's playing who here? Phoebe leaned in closer. "Well played, girl." She looked up at Damon, her laughter ringing out. "Young Mr Ashworth, I'll offer £5,000 a month. Care to consider?" Damon's face darkened, and he remained silent. He just stared at me intently, like an abandoned, homeless puppy. Amidst the commotion, he walked towards me. He stopped stiffly in front of me, his voice suddenly hoarse as he opened his mouth. Finally, he asked very quietly, When did you find out?" I waved my phone, chuckling softly. "Since the day you played dress-up as a male housekeeper at my place, young Mr Ashworth." Damon's face instantly turned ashen. The day Damon Ashworth moved out of the old house. My latest comic had just wrapped up. I finished the last panel. I softly said goodbye to the young lad who resembled Damon a bit. It had been a pleasant collaboration. But still, farewell. My pen would create new characters. As would my life. Damon sluggishly packed his belongings. Though belongings was a stretch, it was just a few clothes. "Miss," he said. He clutched the black sleeveless vest. Looking at me. His eyes unconsciously reddened. "You once said that even if you found out I'd lied to you, you wouldn't break up with me." "That's right," I replied. I tilted my head to look at him. "We were never together, so of course we can't break up." "You fool." His lowered hand clenched and unclenched. He still tried to touch my hand. "Mississippi." He pressed his face to my palm, the touch warm. "Won't you give me another chance? I know I shouldn't have approached you with ulterior motives. Even with such despicable intentions, but I truly fell for you later. I know how to make you happy. I won't like anyone else." He looked up, his chin resting on my palm, nuzzling it. "I'll only ever like you, Mississippi. Please?" "I'm afraid not," I said. I patted his cheek. Then pushed him away. I pulled out the £3,000 I had prepared in advance from my pocket and placed it in his hand. "Because I don't like you, Damon. This is your wages, £3,000. Count it and then please leave." After receiving another royalty payment, I bought that old house. I had it completely renovated. After the long process of refurbishment and deodorizing, on moving day, I specially bought a first-class flight ticket for Flora to come over. The little minx kept messaging me on her way to the airport. "Why are you spending money on first class when you're barely scraping by? Don't you know how to save? It's so much more expensive." I feel bad about the money wasted. The moment we met at the airport, she first gave me 2 light slaps on the shoulder. I have to admit, first class is pretty amazing. Then her face fell again. "But don't waste money like that anymore, all right? No more first-class tickets in the future." "Okay," I said with a smile. In reality, when she was worried I might be self-destructive after my breakup, and hired that £3,000 per month housekeeper for me out of her own pocket. It was right when she had been demoted at work, with her salary cut down to just £5,000 a month. But she never told me. Even 2 weeks ago, when she was made redundant and has been staying at home eating beans on toast, sending out dozens of job applications every day. She didn't tell me about that either. Back home, I sat her down on the sofa. "I have something to tell you. You might want to brace yourself." She frowned. "Did you get back together with Harry?" "No." She sighed in relief. "Then I can handle anything." "Go on. You know those 2 webcomics you've been following? Well, I'm actually the author of both. And I've made quite a bit of money from them." I held up 8 fingers, 8 figures. "Enough to take care of you." She was stunned for a good while. Her eyes gradually reddened, then with a cry she threw her arms around me. "Rebecca Fairfax, you sneaky thing. Next time I'm definitely flying first class again." I heard. Harry had completely changed. He no longer organized gatherings, rarely went out drinking. And even when he did drink, he wouldn't seek out women anymore. He stopped talking about freedom and new experiences all the time. More ironically, he even changed his Facebook status to just 2 words, committed relationship. His Facebook page no longer featured any girls. But none of that mattered to me anymore. I didn't have time to worry about whether my ex-boyfriend had found someone new or was dating. I was busy creating romantic destinies for the characters in my stories. The male lead in my new comic was a self-disciplined, proper gentleman, a man on a pedestal. His love was restrained, controlled. Only in the darkness of night did he surrender to tenderness. But I was stuck, with no clear direction. I had no choice but to wander around, seeking inspiration. Until one day, I ran into a senior I had a crush on during my school days. In my memory, he was the perpetual top student, quiet, aloof. The unattainable idol we talked about most but never dared approach. I greeted him excitedly. He looked at me quietly. His smile was gentle, his gaze as fresh as yesterday despite the years between. He said, "Rebecca, it's been a long time." Years of memories compressed into his gaze. Suddenly, the male lead in my new comic had a face.